This video is going to discuss a quick overview of a job requirement you'll run into a lot, regardless if you choose to work in government IT or in the commercial IT industry. The requirement is called DoD 8570 and its newer version, the DoD 8140. This video will also provide a brief introduction to it and to how certification planning can really give you a head start in your career. And you'll get a quick intro to what certifications this course recommends for aspiring IT professionals. There are lots of IT certifications to pick from, and everyone worries about what certifications are the right fit for them. This course focuses on building a foundation that will open the most amount of opportunity doors possible for aspiring IT professionals. This course is here to help you reach the pay you're seeking as fast as possible. And then once you have established yourself, you can make your own choice on what kind of IT professional you want to become. But before you can make choices about specializing, you have to first get a foundation, get a high-paying IT job, and once you're making the money you want, then you'll have all the luxury time in the world to contemplate what you want to specialize in. However, first things first, so before you can sprint, you have to learn how to walk and jog. There are lots of IT certifications to pick from, but the combination of the CompTIA security plus certification combined with the CYSA plus cert and then the CASP cert is particularly powerful because it satisfies just about every Department of Defense's cybersecurity workforce framework requirement, otherwise known as DoD 8140, that replaced the previous requirements known as DoD 8570. Even if you don't want to work in government, most HR hiring managers use the Department of Defense's cybersecurity workforce framework as a framework to shape the requirements for their own companies. So if you're thinking to yourself, you don't have to go get certifications in IT because you don't intend to work in government IT, you're dead wrong. The reality is that if 90% of companies require certifications to compete with each other for clients, the remaining companies will eventually require those same certifications to be competitive in the market. And even if you find a company that will hire you without certifications, you're put in a situation where if you tried to change companies, your resume would be a lot less competitive in the market than the other applicants. Think about it this way. Would you hire a lawyer who never passed the bar exam? Would you trust a surgeon to operate on you without any formal credentials? Basically, I'm saying that if you take the easy way out, don't cry about missed opportunities later in your career because you lacked certifications. In the real world, if you don't meet these cert requirements, you'll get the doors of opportunity shut in your face more often than most people are willing to admit. At the same time, if you meet the Department of Defense's cybersecurity workforce framework requirements, you'll have lots of doors open to you to choose what kind of IT job you want to do and what your interests are. The DoD 8570 was consumed and replaced by the DoD 8140. However, the Department of Defense still uses the 8570 chart. The government just made it harder to find because that's what they do. If something is easy and simple, they have to make it more complicated and convoluted. This chart might possibly be one of the simplest to understand pieces of government documentation that has ever been created by the Department of Defense. So naturally they buried it and make people think that it's no longer valid. In reality, the 8570 chart still applies. It's just now buried inside the DoD 8140 documentation. The truth is that you can absolutely use the DoD 8570 chart to guide your career progression. Just know that the DoD 8570 is now encapsulated by the DoD 8140. Now back to the 8570/8140 chart and explaining the best way to think about it to make it super simple. It's set up as a grid, and you'll use certifications you earn to mark off the grid squares like a game of bingo. If a job requires that you check off 2 grid squares, then you need at least 1 cert listed in each grid square, meaning you have to have at least 2 certs. IT job roles are assigned a job type and a job level. This course will be focusing on the IAT and IM job types, because IAT and IM grid squares are the ones that matter the most for most IT roles. As you can see on the chart, all the grid squares have IT certifications listed within them for the 3 main levels. By the way, don't worry about what certs you should get and in what order. In this course, I'm going to recommend what certs you should get and in what order to get them in, and explain the logic behind the recommendation, and I'll elaborate on everything and break down what all this means in the next video.